Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and it's Memorial Day. So I woke up this morning and I was thinking about what kind of video I could shoot that would seem fitting for a day like today. I hope everybody has a great holiday today. Obviously, I hope that we remember the reason for the holiday, but that doesn't mean we can't have a good time and enjoy our family and our loved ones while also remembering what the holiday really is about. So as I was thinking about it this morning of what kind of video I'd like to shoot, I thought today would be a cool opportunity to shoot a video of all of my US made knives. Quick little disclaimer, I don't usually reshoot videos. This is my third time reshooting this video, and the first two times it turned into a giant discourse of US made knives versus overseas produced knives, and I think it's better if I leave that out for the meantime. If that's something you guys want to see my thoughts on, let me know. I'd be happy to make a video about where I kind of land. I know that's been a bit of an argument in the community lately. Some people are only buying purely US made knives. As you'll see from my knife box, I don't have 100% all US made knives in my collection at the moment. So take that for what it's worth. I could describe that in greater depth if that's something you guys really wanted to see, but I really just wanted this video to be about the knives. So I'm gonna make it just this way. Yeah, this is one of the rare occasions where I'm reshooting a video because I just felt like it would be better to do it this way. So let's jump right into the knives themselves because I think that's the most fun way to do this video. I don't think I've shown you guys my knife case yet, but this lives in my closet kind of on top of my dresser so that every morning I can pick what knife or knives I'm going to carry that day. Lately on quarantine, sometimes it changes several times a day because I'm bored and I'm at home a lot. So this is the knife case that I use. I don't think this is, funny enough, a US made case. This is just one of the Apache knockoff Pelican cases from Harbor Freight that was really cheap. I would like to eventually get an actual nice Pelican case and like a Nowpak insert for it or something, but this was a great budget option. And I'd rather spend my money on the knives themselves than on what the knives go in, as long as they have a comfortable, safe home. So anyways, it's kind of organized, kind of isn't. My whole top row is always Spyderco. I've got 4 rows of 5 in here. So right now, all 5 of the Spydercos in the top row are US made. Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth. Love that. I do have 2 other Spydercos not in that row at the moment. Only one of them is in here because one is out on loan. But the Danger Banana, the Subvert, is in here right now. The Tough I sent to a buddy to check out. So I've got 5 US made Spydercos, and then everything gets a little crazy. I do have more in my kind of Benchmade row at the moment than I usually do. Yeah, I've got 1 that's being borrowed. So I've got 4 Benchmades in there, all US made. Anyways, let's go through them. I'll show you one by one each of my US made knives, give a quick comment about it, and then I'll move on because I don't need this video to be crazy long. I've already rambled a bunch before jumping in. So we'll do folders first, and then I'll show you a few fixed blades. First is my Spyderco Shaman. This is the Tree Rex Shaman. It was exclusive from Knife Center. It's Rex 45. It came with the Diamondwood Rosewood scales on it. This has been swapped to become the C-Rex, its final evolution. This has the Seafoam Terra Tough scales from Fireside Co., and I love these scales. Just so great. It's also wearing a lynch clip. You'll see all of my US made Spydercos are wearing lynch clips with exception of my PM2. This is the 10V Scorpion PM2 River's Edge Cutlery exclusive. This is my forever. Love this PM2. Anyways, this one happens to be wearing an MXG clip because when I bought this knife, I went to search for a black lynch clip everywhere that I could think to get one, and they didn't have any. So I got an MXG clip. This MXG clip has been great. I've owned a couple of MXG clips over time, both on Spydercos and on other knife brands, and I like it just fine. So it's probably going to stay, even though I do slightly prefer lynch clips. Next, we have my Yojimbo 2. Michael Janich designed knife. This one is wearing aftermarket scales. These kind of grooved G10 scales are from Putman Blade Scales. On Instagram, he's just called Blade Scales. That makes it easy. And I heat anodized this hardware. It's also wearing a lynch clip. This is the Para 3 lynch clip, which I think fits really great for how skinny this gets up here. Yeah, this is great. really, really like the Yojimbo 2. Then I have my Maximet Para 3. This is my forever Para 3. Recently, you may have seen, I put these blue denim micarta scales on it from Rips Garage Tech. I put this bronze anodized titanium hardware set on it from Flytanium, and it is wearing the same lynch clip that it originally got when I first bought this knife. It switched for like a week to a black clip when I put black hardware on with the gray scales, but then I pretty quickly swapped to all this stuff. This clip went right back on, and I kind of like that it's worn in a little bit. Shows the character of the knife. Lastly, my newest Spyderco acquisition. This is the S90V fluted carbon fiber Native 5. This morning I swapped this black Para 3 lynch clip on it, and I'm super happy that I did. It carries better, feels better in hand. I think it looks really cool with the black one. I had another kind of sand-washed one that I was looking at, kind of deciding between the two. I'm glad I went with the black. I think it looks cool with the carbon fiber. And this is my only backlock knife currently. That's not in my like junk knife drawer. This is my only real good backlock. And I've been having fun experiencing this. Anyways, this is probably the most well-made in terms of fit and finish and like the sensation of quality of all of my Golden Colorado Spydercos ever. Just really, really fantastically well executed knife. All right, next is my favorite knife. This is the Koenig Arius. Koenig is based in Idaho. That's where they do all of the machining, all of the work. That's where they make this knife, start to finish. So the Arius is rocking an M390 blade. This is a Gen 4 lightning pockets, and it is just phenomenal. If you haven't watched my review on this, you should. You'll find out why it's legitimately my favorite knife that I've ever owned, ever handled, just period. This is my favorite. I love the Arius so freaking much. Next we have my ZT 0350. I've had this knife since approximately 2011. So this is probably one of my longest owned US made knives. It might be only beat out by one. I really, really like this knife. It's Ken Onion design, made here in the US, and it's spring assisted, which is not my favorite thing about it, but it reminds me of a time when this was what I liked in knives. So it still gets carried every now and then. I really like this knife. Next we get to some Benchmades. All the Benchmades that I have in my case are made in the US. I'm pretty sure Benchmade makes all of their knives, period, in the US. I might be crazy, but I'm almost certain that's the case. Anyways, this one's actually not mine. This is on loan from Kyle at DTOM Knives and Gear. Give him a sub if you haven't already. He's a great guy, making awesome knife videos as well. This is the full-size Crooked River, and it is a behemoth, just gigantic, really, really big knife, and it's a lot of fun. I did some testing with this day before yesterday, and it's just a cool, fun, big, kind of outdoorsy folder. Next, this is probably the knife in my case that I actually have owned the longest, even more than that ZT. This is the Benchmade Sentinel. It's an Alan Elishewitz design, and I don't know when this knife was made, but I know my dad owned and carried it for a few years before he gave it to me in probably like 2008, somewhere around there. So this is an older knife. It's my very first personally owned like high-end knife. Obviously standards change over time, but this was my first really nice knife that I ever owned, and it was given to me by my dad, so it'll be a forever knife for me. Next we have my Bailout. This Bailout has been reground by River's Edge Cutlery. That's the way I got it, straight from them, and I like it much better as a drop point. You can watch my review to learn more about that, as well as why it's wearing this rock scale design backspacer, because the one that comes on it, I have feelings about. Anyways, this is an awesome knife, 3V blade steel. It's just a great, super lightweight outdoor folder for me. Then I've got the Benchmade Bug Out. If there was one Benchmade that I think everybody should own, it's this one. It's just so fantastic in pocket. It is my favorite knife to actually carry in terms of the way it carries, how good it is to actually pull out and use for everything I've ever done with it. For the price, the weight, the size, it's just a amazing knife in my opinion. Some people don't like it. They think it feels a little too cheap and a little too flimsy or whatever it may be. But the more I have used and carried this knife, the more I've grown to appreciate it. I just love the bug out. Next we have the TRM Neutron. The TRM Neutron is made here in the US by all great people. They're really cool. I'm in their Facebook group, and they're genuinely awesome people in the knife community over at TRM. This one is wearing the black micarta scales that are kind of like a polished micarta. They're very smooth. It's a liner lock, 20 CV blade steel, and just a really, really great US made option. This almost feels kind of custom. Like the levels of production they do and the way that they do their finishing and stuff, it feels a little more special than a regular production knife. And I don't know if that makes sense when you're just looking at them, but when I feel and use this knife, it feels a little extra being US made the way it is. But yeah, this is, I would argue, one of the best options, like bang for your buck, to buy from a small US knife company. The amount of materials and fit and finish and function that you get out of the Neutron is just incredible. I will be buying an Atom relatively soon. Right now it's a little tough to get Atoms, but I'll probably buy one in the near future. The only other folder in my knife case that's US made would be this old HK, which is very shortly going to be pushed out of the knife case into the junk knife drawer. When I get better and better knives, the lower end stuff trickles its way out of the case. But this is one of the early HK knives back when Benchmade was manufacturing them. So I'm fairly positive that it's made in the US. I'd be hard pressed to think Benchmade was making this elsewhere. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know everything, but I'm pretty sure it was. This one's spring assisted. It's got a hole for deployment, partially serrated, tip down only, heavy liner lock, and this knife served me well for a while before I was deeper in the hobby. This knife made it into my pocket quite a bit, and I liked it for what it was, but my standards have been elevated since this was a knife that made it in pocket. So yeah, that's my folders. Before I jump into fixed blades, let's real quick think. That was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 of my 20 knives in my knife case are US made. So certainly do have a preference for USA made knives. If there's an option between similar things and one is US made and one is not, I'd even pay a little more for the US made option. I really do value that. There's one knife that should be in here but isn't, and that is my Zero Tolerance 0620. 0620, I never know what's the best way to say a Zero Tolerance name because they're numbers. Anyways, that knife is with my buddy who's making a show scale for it right now, which is almost done. It's very close, so I'll probably be picking that up within the next week, I think. So as soon as I pick that up, there'll be a video on that knife now that it's been updated. But that would make it 14 in here, and I guess that would push out that HK. Anyways, the only other knives I have out on loan are another Taichung made Spyderco and my Quiet Carry Waypoint, which is not USA made. So that's all my USA made folders except for that ZT. Let's talk fixed blades for a quick second. First things first, ESEE Izula 2. ESEE is an awesome US fixed blade knife company. This knife it's got some miles on it with me. This was my designated pack knife for a long time. You'll see what the new one is in a second if you don't already know somehow with how much I talk about it. But yeah, the ESEE Izula 2 is a great USA made small kind of EDC size fixed blade. Then we've got the Tops Tanimboka Puko. This is also made in the US. I would say Tops and ESEE are kind of like they're two competitors in a very similar realm. They both make very like outdoor focused fixed blade knives. And this, as you can see from how dirty and worn it is, I do not shy away from using this knife hard. I really, really like the Tanimboka Puko as kind of a bushcrafting knife. Next, my Dawson Explorer Elite in 52-100. These, I never know whether to call this custom. I guess it's technically a custom, but this is one of their like models that they make repetitively, but they're all done by hand in Arizona by a couple of really cool guys. Every time I've talked to the guys behind Dawson, whether it be at knife shows or just through email or on Instagram or whatever it may be, they are really cool dudes. They even sent me a t-shirt after I did my review. I didn't even have to ask them for it or anything. They just saw it and asked me for my address, said they wanted to send me one. So shout out to them for being so cool for doing stuff like that. But this has been, I think I've owned this also since like 2010 or 2011. Used it a ton. It's 52-100. It is a beast of a fixed blade. I really love the Explorer Elite. Just a great knife. And then lastly, I'm probably missing a fixed blade or two that I didn't think of or like tucked in a glove box or something, but this is my BGM Knives Pike. The Pike lives on my pack, so that's why I'm holding it up here. But yeah, this is my new go-to vertical carry day pack knife, and it's my favorite fixed blade that I currently own. I just adore the Pike so much. The more I use it, the more I love it, and it's so well made, fits my hand so perfectly. If you haven't watched any of my videos on this one, check it out because it's worth it. If you don't know about John from BGM Knives yet, you haven't bought any of his pieces, then don't sleep on him because I believe he is going places. This one's just incredible. So that'll be that. Yeah, let me know if you want me to post some of the me talking about US versus overseas manufactured knives, because I'm happy to share my thoughts on that, but I also, plenty of people are already talking about that. I don't necessarily think that I would add value to the conversation necessarily, but if you think it would be insightful for me to share that, then let me know. I'm happy to see if I can put that footage together I already shot or just shoot it again of just me kind of talking about it. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I hope we can all enjoy Memorial Day. It is a holiday that we have for a reason. So again, don't forget that reason. Be grateful for the blessings that we have because of this holiday. But again, that does not mean that we can't have fun, we can't barbecue, we can't enjoy our family and our friends, and by all means go and do that stuff. And I hope everybody stays safe and enjoys the day. And yeah, this has been my USA made knives that are currently in my collection. My collection is a fluid thing though, so maybe I'll do this again after a while. I'll have to do a full collection update video pretty soon here as well. It's changed quite a bit since the first time I did my full collection video, and that's my most watched video by far. It's got like, I think 4,000 views on it somehow right now, so I'll do an update because apparently you guys like watching that kind of thing. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to those of you who are subscribed, those of you who help me out by being patrons on Patreon, those of you who have bought merch from me, whether it be t-shirts or now I've got mugs or stickers, whatever it may be, those of you who just watch, those of you who comment, thank you all so much. I genuinely appreciate it, and I'm having a ton of fun doing this kind of thing. So thank you all, and I'll talk to you soon.